As we approach 100 days, the president has long claimed the media is biased, and he loves to make media enemy number one. In a new piece titled, "They Really, Really, Really Don't Like the President," Bernie Goldberg writes the following. I think a lot of journalists go to work in the morning, and while they may not actually conspire with other like-minded liberal journalists, they start the day, I believe, with an idea firmly planted in their sensibilities, that Donald Trump has no business being president, that he's unfit for the office, simply that he's a jerk. And then they cover the news with those thoughts in mind, end quote. There's more on that. Bernie Goldberg's with me now, author of that piece and a Fox News contributor. And Bernie, how you doing?
Good, Bill. How are you?
It's good to have you on a Friday. Expand.
Well, I think a lot of people on the right, a lot of people watching us right now, think that there's a kind of conspiracy where liberal journalists go to work in the morning and they go into a dark office, they gather together, and they figure out a plan to bash Republicans and conservatives. It doesn't happen that way. I was a network correspondent for a long time. I've been in those newsrooms. I know how it works. There is no conspiracy. And I don't believe there's a conspiracy against Donald Trump, but I do believe this is different. The coverage of him is so overwhelmingly negative. There must be something else going on. And what's going on is part of what you just read. The preconceived notion about him, and he brings a lot of the negativity on himself, but the preconceived notion is that he's unfit to be president. And everything flows from that. The negative coverage flows from that, whether it's about immigration or collusion with Russia or taxes or anything else. If they think he's unfit to be president and they go to work in the morning with that in mind, the coverage is going to be overwhelmingly negative.
Now, you talk a lot about groupthink, too, in the piece, and I encourage our viewers to check it out on your website. But explain this. The other day, the tax plan is revealed, and the Wall Street Journal has this headline: Trump unveils broad tax cut plan. New York Times, right below it, tax overhaul would aid wealthiest. Both of those headlines, top of the fold, two different newspapers. How do you explain it?
Well, that's a perfect example. The New York Times not only ran that headline across almost the entire front page, but in the story, the hard news story on page 1, they said the president's plan would eliminate several provisions that would help Donald Trump. On the editorial page, they said the same thing. This is a plan that will help Donald Trump and people like Donald Trump, wealthy people. There was an op-ed the same day, right across from the editorial, saying the exact same thing. Now, whether you like this plan or not, whether you think Donald Trump is a good president or not, are we really supposed to think that he and his team came up with a tax plan designed to enrich Donald Trump? No, come on. You can't believe that.
You've heard it a lot.
No reasonable person.
You've heard it a lot from a lot of different circles. We asked Sean Spicer that very question a few days ago. So now you have this event.
A lot of progressives think that.
Yeah, probably. Now you have this event tomorrow night in Washington, D.C., where the president will not attend. That's the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And you know, at Bernie, you get 2,500 people in the basement of the Hilton, and they have a bit of a love fest together. Well, this year, the president will be in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He declared a month or two ago that he and his staff would not attend. He was asked about it yesterday in an interview when he described it this way. Just watch here.
I'm treated very unfairly and very dishonestly by the press, and I thought it was inappropriate to go this year. If I were treated even slightly fairly by the press, I would have gone.
Now he says he'll reconsider possibly for next year. We'll see what happens 12 months from now. But Saturday night, you're going to have competing images across America. You're going to have this gathering in Washington, D.C. You're going to have President Trump in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I don't know what he's going to do, Bernie. But I would not put it past the White House to put a shot of C-SPAN in the room in Harrisburg and say they're the people that, again, are the enemy, which he did a lot during the campaign. I imagine that would be quite a juxtaposition.
Right. But if I were advising Donald Trump, I would advise him to go to Harrisburg or go to Timbuktu and not go to the White House
Correspondents'
Love Fest.
Dinner.
Correspondents' Dinner, because of two things. One, sometimes it really gets nasty. I mean, some comedians know how to thread the needle, and some just go over the line. And you know they're going to go over the line with Donald Trump. And the second reason is Donald Trump is notoriously thin-skinned. So if I'm advising the president, I'm not going to say, Mr. President, you're notoriously thin-skinned, but I know that he is, and I'm going to say, you don't want to go to this thing. You're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. Don't go. I think he made the right decision not to go.